Hi guys, welcome back. So today I thought I would talk about my pregnancy journey for my second pregnancy. Where should I start? I'll just lay some groundwork for you. With my first pregnancy with my daughter, I was pretty sick for the majority of it. Vomiting and all that jazz for over half of it. But what I found was that I had only been working up until my first trimester because we moved to Perth after that and had a baby moon. But because I was still so ill, when we came to Perth, I was still ill, but I had a lot of time to rest and sleep, and I think that made a huge difference. Whereas this time around, I think my morning sickness is definitely worse, but when you're running around after a toddler or you need to be looking after someone else, it's been a lot harder. So today I just quickly run through this pregnancy. It wasn't a planned pregnancy, so I think that got me off to a bit of a rocky start in that I wasn't mentally prepared. I wasn't mentally prepared for everything that was gonna happen, and not only that, I just finished breastfeeding my first, and I was just feeling good about my body again and getting like my independence back, whereas I'd never been through that before, so knowing that everything was going to change again kind of shook me up. And I just decided like a few weeks beforehand that I was going to return to look for work and see if I could get a job here. But all that changed when we found out. And if anyone is interested in knowing, when you, I did not know this, when you stop breastfeeding, apparently you're more fertile. So, note to anyone out there, if you are not wanting to fall pregnant and you are stopping breastfeeding, then just take extra precaution. I was tracking my cycle on an app, but obviously that wasn't quite as accurate as I had hoped. So, not to say, I'm very excited to meet this baby, but it has been a really rough 8 months. My nausea kicked in at 4 weeks, which is how I knew something was up. We had planned a trip to New Zealand to see James's family, and if I had known I was going to be pregnant, I probably wouldn't have gone because I get so ill. So it hit at 4 weeks, and about 6 weeks we were flying over to New Zealand. I was really sick. I'd already started vomiting multiple times a day, and I just had no energy. And my husband's amazing, and he made sure he was there supporting with our daughter, so that I could rest as much as I possibly could when you have another one to look after. But yeah, it was a really lonely time. When we got back home, it was great to be in my own house and just to be able to veg with my daughter, but it was really hard because I couldn't handle cooking because I couldn't handle any smells. I was exhausted constantly, so I would end up going to bed at 5:30. Like, my husband would walk in the door and I would be like, okay, good night. So, and I would be out to it. For me, vomiting 3 times a day, it just messes with you. So that was where I was at, and because I knew with my first that this lasted a lot longer than what the recommended amount of time for morning sickness is for me. Like the hope of it getting better just didn't exist this time around, because I knew it was going to be at least like 5 months of this. And it was longer. The vomiting only stopped around 28 weeks. And even then it would reoccur. The nausea I still get. So I am on like drugs to help that. But honestly, it's not like I don't think it helps. I think it helps you function mentally. But I am functioning now. For the first 4 months, I wasn't functioning, and it's a really lonely and isolating time. And as much as you're grateful for the fact that you're growing, that your body is doing something amazing, it's hard. So yeah, and then you hit your 3rd trimester. Well, I hit my 3rd trimester, and you're just big. For me, I get big, and sore and achy. And again, with my first, I didn't experience like all this. I for some reason was just like on cloud 9 and just didn't have as much struggle. But this time around, it's been a lot harder. And yeah, so I feel for any woman out there that is going through this, because it definitely, you feel alone in that time, because you really are confined to your house. I had great support from my family, and I would go over there so that my daughter could play with her cousin, and I could just like take some time to like not have to run around after her. But yeah, it wasn't a positive experience this time around. Yeah, so that's a little insight as to what's been going on for me for the last 8 months. You really get into this survival mode where you just hope that it's going to be finished soon. And you know what, for me, I'm coming up to the end. I'm actually feeling really positive about everything, because there is an end in sight. When you are 4 weeks and vomiting and nauseated, there's the sight, the end is not in sight. It's rough. So yeah, that's a bit about my pregnancy journey this time around. And you know what, you go through this and it's really hard and it's really, really sucky. But you forget. You forget. I don't know if I'll forget how sick I was, because that kind of scars you. You can't look at certain foods the same way. But if you are ready to have a child again, you just forget and you go through it all again. And the human mind is good like that. That you do what you need to do in order to survive. But yeah, just an insight into our little world. I've had an amazing husband who's been really supportive, and has like already kind of transitioned to spending a lot more time with Amelia, so that when the newborn is here, I don't think that will be so foreign to her. She's already used to spending time with Daddy in the evenings and all that kind of stuff. So that's really good, and I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, so thanks for listening to my little download. You know, not everyone's story is beautiful and lovely, and for those women, that's amazing. We all have our own journeys, we all have our own struggles, and this pregnancy has been a struggle for me. And yeah, so anyone else that's going through this, you're not alone. Well, I know it feels like you are, but there are women out there who really struggle with sickness in their pregnancies. And I'm sure there's plenty more things that I could tell you about it, but that's just a quick overview for this one. So thanks again for watching, and yeah, I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.